guys, welcome to my best books of December. I have four or five books I'm going to go through again for December. Honestly, December was a little bit of a slow month for me. I don't tend to read as much during holiday season. I was traveling a lot for work, which I usually do read more when I travel, but then we did a whole bunch of family stuff, and it was just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a slow time for me. I don't read quite as much. Anyways, that being said, I did read a few really good books that I want to talk about. The first one I read is another Kelsey Sutton novel, The Lonely Ones. And this whole book is done in like free verse style. And it's about a girl who escapes at night with monsters to go on a whole bunch of adventures. And as it goes on, you don't know if that's really real or not, because she's having a lot of trouble with her parents and at home. And ends up kind of being a young adult fantasy, but also a book about just growing as an adult and into an adult and as an individual and kind of finding your place and figuring out the value of like friendship and family and all that. So I really liked it. There's some really cool like creativity and imagery in here. And I was surprised at how engaging the story was in free verse like that. Ended up being a pretty quick read for me. I gave it 5 stars. I really loved it. And I'm going to keep it, I think, and read it with my son just because it's such a creative way to tell a story. I think he would really enjoy it. So, and the fantasy parts of it are really cool. So, you know, I really like that and would recommend it. It's very different. And if you like fantasy, though, it was a really good story. All right. The next one I really liked a lot. You guys know I've been doing the Audible Escapes, which is unlimited romance audiobooks or whatever for a pretty small fee per month. And I was running out of audiobook credits, so I went ahead and tried it. This one is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. She also wrote, I think, the Malediction trilogy is the other trilogy she wrote about a troll kingdom. I really, really love this. This is an adult book. It does have some romance in it. It also has a lot of action in it in a really cool fantasy world. This girl and this guy, they're enemies. She gets married to him to kind of create an alliance between the kingdoms. But the Bridge Kingdom is a really interesting place where it's basically aerial bridges between these islands, and it's the only way for people to trade and get around the world. So it's a really fun concept. I thought it was really well done. I enjoyed all the characters. I really liked the action and the adventure. So the woman is a trained assassin in the book and all this. So I like this a lot, and I listened to this on audiobook. Very well done. They had a narrator for the woman and the man separately, but it worked really well. And so, yeah, I love this. And if you like the Malediction trilogy, I would definitely recommend this because then you're already familiar with Jensen's writing style. If you're interested in a fantasy romance that's like heavier on the action and world building, which is what I prefer, I would also recommend this. I really, really love this one. And I'm super excited to see what the second book is like in the series. So, and I read this like after kind of a drought of good books. So it seemed even more wonderful to me probably than it is, but I really, really enjoyed it a lot. All right. The next one is a young adult fantasy that I was happy that I loved so much because everything I've read by this author has been good. And that's The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones. I also read The Hearts We Sold. That was really good. That was more of like a young adult paranormal book. This is just a straight out fantasy young adult book. I love this book. This was really good. It's set in kind of a typical fantasy world, but the dead don't always stay dead. They kind of come up and they're walking around. And the young woman who is there is very unique. She's a gravekeeper and she loves her job. She likes being a gravekeeper, which is it was kind of interesting. I mean, she really loves doing that. It was a unique pastime or career for a hero to have. And she ends up journeying with a young man who's a map maker, and he loves making maps, and they go off and they're trying to find this ancient relic that is causing the dead to rise and attack people with increasing frequency. So really, really good, really well written. I just love this one. I can't even fully explain why I loved it, but I loved it. And it's one I would definitely read again. I just thought the characters were so unique. The world building was so well done. It was just so well written. It was so easy to read and really sucked you into the story. So I love this. Again, I would recommend it. The next one is one I don't think everyone is going to love because it was pretty vicious, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And that is Red Hood by Elena K. Arnold. I know that she wrote another book called Damsel, which I did not read, which was highly controversial. I could see this book being the same. It's set in modern day time, and it's about a young girl who, I guess right in the beginning, she gets attacked by a wolf, and she kills it. And she finds out that it wasn't exactly a wolf she killed. So there's a little bit of obsession about strange things in this book. Like, she's really obsessed with menstruation and, like, graphically describing that, which it is relevant to the story in general. I mean, the whole story has this very strong undercurrent about, like, why are women taught how to try to keep themselves safe and men aren't taught better on how to not be violent and to be kind to those around them. You know, there's kind of that undercurrent. There's also an undercurrent of why do people turn bad? You know, what makes these people turn into bad people? But it's written in a very interesting style, very immediate. The description's very vicious. There's some description of sexual acts and stuff like that in here. I'm a little bit surprised that this is a young adult book because it is vicious. It's gory, it's vicious, but part of me really liked it. I ended up giving 5 stars because it was so different from anything I've read. And it really kind of just stabs straight to the heart of some issues like with society in general and with young women and confidence. And I thought it was a really good read. And so I hope people like it. I do think, though, that just beware. Like, this is one of those books that maybe should have a trigger warning at the beginning because it's vicious and the language is vicious. It's stark, brutal, but still, like, really well done and poetic somehow. So I loved it because it was just, as I said, so different from anything else I have read. And I'm going to get her other books and read them as well because I was just so impressed by kind of the commitment and dedication to this writing style and the story and how she's trying to really get to the heart of a lot of matters in society that are issues. So, and there are paranormal fantasy elements as well, but I'm not going to go into them because it spoils stuff. All right. The last one that I really loved this month that kind of surprised me, and I didn't give this one 5 stars. I gave it like 4.5 because it was kind of a more typical book that I would like. It didn't really surprise me a lot, but I was pleased and I enjoyed it a lot. And that is Beauty and the Clockwork Beast by Nancy Campbell Allen. And this is another Audible Escape, so it's a little bit more romance heavy. I saw this and I've read a lot of Audible Escape stuff that has been kind of on the fence, not very great. But this one combined 2 of my favorite things, fairy tale retellings and steampunk elements. So stuff I love. And I ended up really, really enjoying this. It's about a young woman who's a botanist, and she ends up visiting her sister at this estate that is supposedly cursed. She runs into the Lord there, who is very disfigured and has some supernatural elements going on, who, you know, the beast kind of guy or whatever. It was really good. It combines, like, there was vampires and shapeshifters and steampunky stuff and sciencey stuff. And it kind of combines a lot of things I like. And it sounds like kind of a lot mashed together, but it worked really well. The world was well done. There's a good mystery the characters are solving. The romance, like, it's not one of those books that is just a romance. The romance is part of the story. It is the story. It was a nice package. And those are my favorite kind of books. And I like reading the steampunk romances. Sometimes they're just fun and light and, you know, leave you feeling happy. So I like this one. It was well balanced. There's some action, there's some adventure, there's some good world building elements. The characters were all well done. Even like the secondary characters are given time and page space. So, I listened to an audiobook. Audiobook was very well done. I don't really have any complaints about it. And yeah, it was really good. So if you are into that kind of thing, which I know it's kind of a specific, like, niche, like fairy tale retelling steampunk style with vampires and werewolves and all that stuff. But this was well done. And it's one that I probably would have never read if it hadn't been for Audible Escapes. There are, I think, 2 more fairy tale retellings in this series that I'm going to go ahead and read. And so far out of these steampunk series I've read on Audible Escapes, this one is my favorite, hands down. The other one that I really like is, I'm blinking on the lady's name, but it's not an Audible Escapes. It's a different one. It's the one like Krakens and Canals and all that stuff. That one I like as well. My favorite of all the series I've read, steampunk romancy type series, is the Iron Seas series by Malhan Brooke. I mean, she's just amazing. That is an amazing book. Like the world building, the action, everything in that is amazing. I wish she'd write more books in the series because I would definitely read them. But yeah, so those are the 5 that I really liked. The Lonely Ones, a little free verse, young adult for you. The Bone Houses, a young adult fantasy. Bridge Kingdom, an adult fantasy. Red Hood, a young adult like paranormal book, and then Beauty and the Clockwork Beast, which is a adult steampunk romance. Beauty and the Clockwork Beast is actually could be young adult. There's not really a lot in there it's never very explicit or anything. It's just kind of a fun read. So those are my favorite books of December. Please feel free to comment below if you had books that you read that you really liked. I will talk to you guys soon. I'm going to record a Stacking the Shelves posting right after that, but I think that will post probably before this one does. And then I've been doing my Stacking the Shelves about every other week because that's when I've had time. Hopefully I won't be traveling quite as much in the upcoming months, so I'll have a little bit more time. Anyways, all right. Hope you guys had a great week of reading last week, a great holiday season, and Happy New Year. Talk to you later. Bye.